everybody. We are here for the final episode of the year. Man, it's been wild. It has been a lot. There has been a whole bunch of things we probably could talk about. But I'm just going to be honest, I don't have anything prepared. So we are going to start the show right now. Give us a call.
This is Skeptic Haven. Let's talk.
Woo!
Wow. What an impressive intro, sir.
Thank you,
really
man.
Great.
This is what I have always valued, honesty in what I do. And I just feel like, this of all times, right? The last show of the year.
Right.
If we have any slack to be given, this is the show, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just kicked back right now. I'm going to put my feet up halfway through the show. I don't know. We're going to chill. We're going to take it easy. We don't have anything super crazy prepared, but I mean, this is a call-in show and the number's right there on the screen. It's scrolling below. It's in the description, all that good stuff in the live chat. So give us a call. If you got thoughts on something, you want to argue with us, we'll do it. I mean, we'll do it. Like, Dan, would you argue if somebody came in and they were hot and they were like, let's get it, let's fight?
They were hot? I didn't realize there were videos.
I didn't mean hot in like a, no, I didn't mean like attractive. I meant like hot in like a spicy, like
they're heated.
Okay, that is a correct. Yeah. Heated.
No, I'm down. I'm down for whatever.
Okay. Okay.
So
all right. Well, you heard it. Dan's down. He'll fight you if you want to fight.
Right.
Or if you just want to chat, you just want to talk about nice things and tell a quick story or commune with friends. I don't care. Again, I literally don't have anything planned. So if you don't call in, it's gonna be uncomfortable, at least for Dan. So for Dan's sake, please call it.
Please do, or else we'll go back to our previous conversation about the marketability of manifestos.
That will not be a good. There will not be a single clip that comes from that that will be usable.
That's good. Because oh man, Elliot was saying some words. I mean, I thought I knew all the racial slurs in the book, but
so before we get into that, Dan, let's just say welcome everybody to our absolutely wonderful guest, Objectively Dan from Truth Wanted.
Oh.
Hey.
So great. I love how I'm sorry. I need to apologize because like we're not even 2 minutes in. I'm already giving you like the worst fucking shit. But I can't help myself. I really can't. It's like a fly to honey. I just, well, it happens for me.
I would be upset if it was bad, like if it was worse comedy, I would be upset.
Worse
but it's like
comedy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's so enjoyable, but it's like it's that level of cringe, I think, that is still palatable.
Who's cringe? Me or you? Hold on.
I don't know.
Wait a minute. Because that's not how I would describe my comedy, sir.
I'm gonna lose friends, and I'm never gonna
that show
be
of the year
invited.
turns out to be real spicy for Elliot in ways he didn't expect. That's what's happening right now.
Oh, it's gonna get personal, you guys. No, seriously, if you don't call, it will just be this the whole rest of the show. So I'm sure somebody's gonna.
And how long? We got an hour and a half.
Honestly, we just keep going until somebody finally is just like, please, God, stop, please don't anymore. Well, no, about an hour.
Okay. Sounds good.
But
I'm here.
I'm glad you're here, dude.
Yeah.
It's been a minute, I feel like, since you've been hanging out over here. And in that time, you have been out there battling quite a lot of claims and conspiracies.
Sure.
And that you are known for digging into that stuff a lot, right? Yeah. So I gotta ask this.
Yes.
Because this was so cool. I thought this was a really, really interesting thing.
Okay.
Not a great name. I'm gonna say that up front.
All right, I'm listening.
There's something that has taken place recently in this year of 2024.
Right.
Called the final experiment.
Yes.
Do you know about this?
I'm up to date. I'm aware.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
You already know.
I'm sure there is somebody out there that is unfamiliar with this.
You're
Can
right.
you give us just like a little snippet of this and like what the heck this was all about? Because I stumbled across this like literally just a few weeks ago and thought it was the craziest, coolest freaking thing ever. And it actually happened, and that's pretty wild.
Yeah, so the final experiment was actually created by a pastor, believe it or
Huh?
not. Did you know this pastor, Will Duffy? And this was the idea for this. Flat earthers are a thing, still out there, still kicking, and they have a lot of things to say, particularly about Antarctica. Antarctica has always been a sore spot for the flat earth community because they don't know what it is. Is it an ice wall that goes around the earth? Is it just not even existent and just like a government sort of psyop? A lot of divisiveness around Antarctica because your idea of what Antarctica is also can tell you what the shape of the earth is,
Mhm.
well as in particular the placement of the sun, right? So if you think about it, if you go to Antarctica, there's a reason why scientists stay for only parts of the year, and part of it is because the seasons in Antarctica are radically different from everywhere else on Earth. They have the sun for 6 months up in the sky,
Mhm.
and then not up in the sky for another 6 months.
Right.
That doesn't really work if your Earth is flat, right? Because flat Earth models they vary, but they pretty much don't account for this. There's no real way to account for that. So that's part of this sort of reason why Antarctica is kind of a psyop. So they basically got a boat and took 24 flat earthers and 24 globe earthers as well to get them to the bottom of this and just kind of go see Antarctica. And sure enough, I don't know if you know this, Elliot, but the Earth is round. So that's what they figured out. But of
I
course, this wasn't going to work because there's always going to be denialists. I think some of them have like kind of set their beef aside.
mm.
A very small number of them. But the one guy in particular who is an influencer in the community is like, hey, we were wrong about this. And a lot of the other folks are like still in denial. And of course, people online.
So I want to start off with something that I think is a really interesting fact about all of this. Not the
Mhm.
intended purpose for this experiment, of course, but
Yeah.
as I was initially reading through this, and I got to the part where it just says like, yeah, we're just gonna like take a plane out there. I just went, wait, you, really?
Yeah.
Like the average person can just buy a ticket, and you can. They
Mhm.
actually have the price listed on their website. They say this is how much it costs to go, and it's just like, yeah, like it's a thing. A company just regularly charters people there. That was wild enough alone. And then yeah, come to find out it is a bunch of people who have really made some very particular claims, I thought.
Yeah.
Something that could absolutely be proven and disproven. And hey, I
Yep.
thought it stood
Antarctic
up.
logistics and expeditions was what they do it with, and there's other
That's
people that
amazing.
like do tours and stuff too. Like
See, that's
Antarctica
wild to
tourism is a
me.
thing. They don't typically always like go on land. Usually a lot of times they just kind of fly around it. But I believe they actually did go
Yeah.
like over the ice with this
Yeah, they
plane.
were like on land. There was live video footage of
Yeah.
them like walking,
Yeah.
which is pretty wild. And
Yeah.
also, I don't know if it's just because we were talking about this or what, but we actually have somebody that is a flat earther that has called in. So I am
Oh
super
boy.
thrilled, yeah, to do this. So we are going to talk with Dan. Him in Massachusetts wants to talk about space not being real. So that is very interesting.
Great.
What is up, Dan? You are talking with Objectively Dan and
That's right.
Secular Rarity. How's it going, brother? Dan, you there? Oh, okay. We'll put you back in the queue. We'll check you.
Yep.
We'll bring you back.
Well, first, Dan, if you're listening and getting stuff figured out, uh, you know, I want to know if Dan's actually seen the final experiment because this was what I've said from the beginning about this. By the way, I talked about this on my own show. This will not convince the vast majority of people. First of all, even on
Mm.
there, and also people online. I think it will obviously convince somebody, maybe a few people, not as many as people would expect, because you have to realize how hard people dig in to this stuff. They've done things like this before, not just with flat earth communities, but like with young earth creationists, for example. Like they've taken young earth creationists to like museums and to laboratories and stuff and be like, oh, hey, look, here's the evidence for this stuff. And like, yeah, it helps like one or two folks, but a lot of them just don't care, or they come up with their own explanations.
Yeah.
Like it's just less of effective as a therapy than people really think it is, honestly.
Yeah, and that does bring up something interesting. I wanna get on to. I just want to mention real quick. Our flat earther did drop. So if that was an accident or something, just give us a call back. We're right.
Dan, if you're watching, Crew's saying they could hear you, but we couldn't hear you. So if you call back, we can probably fix that. So
yeah. I am sure. I feel very confident. We've got a wonderful crew here, and they do great stuff. But let me ask you about that, man.
Right.
So, because this was really interesting to me. It came to my attention, this whole concept. Started looking into it. I said, "Oh wow, I guess I didn't really think about it being the case that a globe Earth would require there to be, 24 hours of sun during this time of year in it." But okay, yeah, sure. Fair enough. You're right. I'm with it. Okay, I see that prediction, right? And then I see the other prediction. I think those are pretty fair, pretty straightforward, right? And then I watched the guy set up the camera, and I watched the time-lapse video. I mean,
right.
It seems to me that absolutely definitively answers the question, but it kind of sounds like what you're saying is what we've seen in the past with these types of things is that doesn't really do it, that people still kind of find a way to keep holding on.
Well, the first thing, of course, I looked at when this was finally released, and by the way, this is not knocking Will Duffy and, their folks for doing this stuff. Obviously, I do think it's admirable, but I just don't think it's as effective as people wish or hope it could be. The first thing I did was check out Flat Earth Facebook groups. You know what they're saying? Oh, this is a psyop. Oh, this was paid actors. Oh. There's some stuff that wasn't real here. They weren't actually taken to Antarctica. They were taken to somewhere else, right? There's already people going that route and adding more and more conspiracies to already the conspiracy of the flat earth, right? Because when your method of thinking isn't based on the scientific method or isn't based on methods that we typically use, if your thinking is based on something else, using science is not going to convince you, because science can convince you in the first place, right? So like, these kinds of deeply held set of beliefs, like they need therapy. They don't need, they need like active sessions of people talking to them and critiquing and conversation, like doing stuff online just for people to see. Yeah, does it work for some people? It does, but like, it's not going to convince everybody. That's just not how people change their minds too often, especially like when they're that deeply set. So I was already skeptical from the beginning. Again, I don't knock the folks that are doing stuff like this. I think it's great, but it was never going to kill the flat earth community.
Sure.
It would
never be the actual final experiment.
Right,
of course not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which is like what is implied in the name, right?
Right.
And which like a lot of my skeptic friends were saying, oh, this is going to be it. It's like, no, it's not. It's just going to keep, it's always going to be that way.
Well, we did get Dan back. So I think we have fixed the problem. So we are going to try. Let's see if we can get him on here. Hey, Dan, you are on Let's Talk. What is up? It's still, I'm not getting anything. Are you?
Nope, I'm not hearing anything either.
Yeah, I'm not either. Our crew was saying they were hearing something before, but I don't know what's going on. So we'll throw you back in the queue, Dan. Just hang with us for a little bit. We will fix that. And
maybe another test call or something.
Yeah, I thought we had. We'll see what they're getting into while we're talking. But yeah, man. I think this brings up a difficult position for us, man.
Sure.
Right? Because, you like to, you like to learn about stuff. You like to push back on things. You like to go for the truth, you know? I kind of like that stuff myself, you know?
Sure.
I enjoy the debunk. I enjoy, um, are we actually making any progress? I guess is a good question at the end of the day. If something like this really doesn't seem to move the needle that hard for that community, are we doing anything? Are we helping? Are we hurting? Is it not doing anything at all? I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know we were going to get this deep tonight, by the way. This is all totally off the cuff, you guys. We're just screwing around.
Yeah, no, I totally hear you. You have to think about scale, right?
Mhm.
I think a lot of people think, oh, if I'm not making this big global change or this change in this whole community, I'm not making a difference, and that's just absolutely false, right?
Mhm.
There's different levels of differences. So a philosopher I really like, he kind of puts it into these three categories of meaning, right? One of them is on a universal level. Like ultimately, everything that we do, there's nothing that we
Sure.
on a universal level, right? Like we just have to get over that. The next is about like on a humanity level, sort of humankind level. And there's very few people that make it to these broad changes. I'm talking about like big global figures of history, those that have
Mhm.
get in the history books for doing stuff, the sort of great man idea of history, which is always going to be a farce and always
Yeah.
going to be a construct, but is a believable construct and one that many people hold stock in, right? So
Sure.
very few of us get to that. And then the rest of it is just the local level, right? What we do with the local, you and me talking to you, the
Right.
audience that watches this show, in the and beyond that, like that's about as much as we can really do. And that's pretty much it. One day I'm gonna die, one day you're gonna die, and maybe we have a headstone somewhere, and that's gonna be it, right?
Yeah.
And so
Not much more.
not trying to put an existential spin on this, but this idea that like that doesn't matter is also a farce
Yeah.
as well. Because in order to get to that next level, that history book level, it's built on the local level,
Hmm.
right? That local change is really important. Yeah, maybe you don't make you don't have a YouTube channel with 1 million followers, but if you change your family members' mind on something,
Could be a
they
really
know
big deal.
people and they
Yeah.
know other people, and that
Yeah.
makes a difference in your
Yeah.
life, in their lives, right? So I don't know. I think this idea that we have to be all activists online
Mm.
posting on Twitter with our messages of platitude about
Every
whatever
day.
cause is going on. Yeah, like that has its place, but like I often find that the most meaningful change I've seen from people, at least that have written into me, and I know they've written into you, have said, "Hey, I talked to my grandma about this, or I talked to my friend about this, and we finally got somewhere with there." And like
Right.
that seems to happen on a personal level more so than I see on a online sort of level, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, that's my long spiel about that.
No, I really appreciate that. And
Mm,
I've got some more thoughts I'm gonna definitely dig back into. But
yeah.
we got Dan back, so we're gonna try again. But I just saw
Okay.
we had a super chat. Can we throw that back up? I want to read that out and say thank you to the wonderful folks that help keep the lights on and all that goodness here. Left-handed Jedi for $5. Thank you so much. Saying crazy conspiracy Ken here. Buy one conspiracy and get the second at half price. All conspiracies must go. We accept trade-ins. I
I
like
like it.
that. I
That's
like
pretty good.
trading in. I like the idea of trading.
Yeah.
It's like,
Listen, I got this JFK
right,
one. It's
right.
it's mint. It was
Uh-huh,
mint. It was
uh-huh.
mint 30 years ago.
I
You
want to give
know?
up this lizard people so that I
Yeah.
can do gravity's not real.
Listen, Bernie Sanders shot JFK. That's what I'm trading
That's
in
what
for
you're
you here.
trading in?
Okay?
That's got some value. That's
It's
got
got
some,
some
yeah,
value in some
yeah, yeah.
circles.
Okay,
Okay.
let's try again. Hey, we got you, Dan. Let's bring you on out in Massachusetts. Hey, Dan, can you hear us? Although I guess you've been able to hear us this whole time.
Yeah, I think Dan could hear us, but
Right.
we can't hear him.
It's still nothing. I'm not crazy, right?
Nope,
Like,
I'm not hearing it either.
audience, you're also not hearing anything. I just want to make sure. Like, I don't know. Yeah, cool. Nobody in the audience has told me I'm crazy just yet, but that's
Nope,
okay.
not
We'll
me
just,
either.
yeah, we'll put you back. We'll put you back in. I am gonna see real quick our screener if I can grab you. Hey, Bree. Oh, see, I can't even hear.
Nope, can't hear
Right,
either.
right. Okay,
Nothing.
that's okay. Well, at least we're getting to the bottom of it. We will We will figure it out. Just hang with us, Dan. I appreciate you. I see we got somebody else on the line, so just hang with us, you guys. We are going to grab it in just a second. I think you had a lot of good points there, man. I think you had a lot of good stuff there in the sense of the idea that this big all or nothing thing, right? Like if you're not constantly out there yelling, posting on Twitter and making the debunk videos and all of that, like if you're not doing that, then you're not doing anything. I think that is a mindset that prevents us in a lot of places from doing some real meaningful things when truly like, hey, we can make progress here. We're not look, I'm gonna tell people this might bum them out. I think you probably already know this. The entire rest of our lives we'll be talking about religion. Like it's not going away. You think it's gonna go away before you and I are gone?
No. I don't think that at all.
I didn't
whether
mean
I'm gonna keep giving.
No, I didn't. That's I didn't mean like that. No. What you do with your time, totally. But like, it's not gonna be gone anytime soon. This fight isn't something that is really going to have this like catharsis of being done. Ever.
No. But there are waves.
Absolutely. And we are able to help keep those next waves just a little bit less shitty. I mean, I think that is totally the right mentality to go forward with it. And I don't see that as nihilistic, depressing, anything like that. I mean, I get that some people do, but me personally, I think that's the reason to keep fighting, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why we keep doing this stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, it's something I think about a lot as far as like, what's my purpose in doing this? Why do I care about this so much? Why do I talk about this so much? And it's because I keep hearing the stories. It's because I keep hearing about people's lives. And even just the fact about talking about it out loud is still an empowering act for a lot of people, right? So like when you look at like ex-Scientologists, I can't really relate to them and their stories as much.
Right.
That's not as meaningful to me, and my story is not going to be as meaningful to them. There may be some similarities and some parallels, but that's not it. But Christianity as a whole is something I'm very familiar with, and something I did grow up with, and something I did see the worst sides of. Certainly not the horror stories that I know from my friends, but it's there, and I recognize it in the thought patterns that a secular person is just not going to be able to understand as much, right? That somebody that grew up secular, that wasn't in that world. So like, I think there's value there in providing that experience in that space to even just discuss it. I think that's why I like to do this stuff, and that's why I always do live call-in show stuff instead of video essays, because I'm not as talented as some of these video essayists, but like that's my, I feel like, contribution to the conversation, I think.
Yeah. And again, man, I think I'm with you there. We've got, I want to try this again. I don't know if if it's fixed or not. We got somebody else, so this might tell us for sure, because it's a totally different line.
Right.
So we got Tommy, he, him, New York. Wants to talk about flat Earth, it kind of looks like. So hey, let's see if we got this audio fixed. Hey Tommy, can you hear us? Well, we still cannot.
It's not great.
It is not good.
It's not great, Ellie. It's not happening.
Yes, Tommy, if it sounds like we're cutting you off with just complete and total,
Here, how about this, Elliot? I'll pretend to be Tommy, and then you can talk to me. How about that?
Well,
hey, Elliot, how's it going? My name's Tommy from New York.
Is that? I want Tommy to come on now. I want to fix this just so that I can have Tommy come on and do that. And just be like, hey, I'm Tommy from New York.
I'm Tommy from New York.
Yeah.
It's a living.
Oh, God.
Bada boom, bada bing. Hey, I'm from New York.
Is that what New York people?
Dude, that's Tommy, man. That's his whole vibe.
Tommy, we are not.
No, we're
I
not
just
making
want
fun of
you
you,
to know, we're
Tommy.
not
I don't
making
even know
fun
what
of
you
you,
sound
man.
like. This
I'm
is
sure.
an original
We
character.
do want to. We do want to talk to you. We are
Right.
just apparently having little technical issues.
Yeah.
And really, the problem is, though, it's not really the technical issues that's the problem. It's me. Because had I done any
How many
amount of-
relationships have I had?
Yeah.
I've done that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Well, how
It's
many
not
times?
the technical issues.
It's not the technical issues
It's
of the
me.
relationship. It's me. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
No. While we are trying to fix this, I am just gonna keep rambling and make stuff up.
Keep on,
But,
keep on. We're
yeah,
gonna do it.
yeah.
How was your Christmas?
Oh, it was
You had a
pretty
good
good.
Christmas? Okay.
Yeah, pretty good.
You
know.
celebrated the Christian holiday of Christmas?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
You know.
Wow. How does it feel
Yeah.
to betray the community?
Well,
like that?
I felt like I was perpetuating millennia of intolerance and,
Right.
and hate, but
Right.
I got through it somehow.
Okay.
You know?
That's good.
It
I
may-
did too, by the way. So
Might have
that's-
been. Yeah, I was gonna say. It could have been
Yeah.
the pie. It could have been. It could have been the eggnog. I'm not sure what
Yeah.
allowed me to figure that out. But no,
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I
You
was
got any?
well, I was just gonna tell this funny story because
Oh, please.
my mom just she's a wonderful woman and she gives me nice clothes. And she got me some great clothes this year. But I told her like 2 months ago, I was like, Mom, every Christmas you always give me a blue shirt. And if you look at the color wheel of my closet, the largest proportion of colors is in blue more than anything else. And I think it's almost purely because my mom always gets me something blue. I don't know what it is. And so I said, please don't give me a blue shirt. And she got me clothes this year. And they all fit really great. But one of them was a big solid blue. And I was just like, Mom, please.
Do you think she
Please.
did that on purpose this
No,
time?
she forgot. She forgot that I told her not to do that. And but
Yeah.
it fits so nicely. I didn't even want her to take it back or anything. I was like, no, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine, Mom. But
It's a good
anyway.
shirt.
Yeah, I'm even wearing blue right now.
Yeah.
I got this for
Yeah,
myself,
blue.
I think, at some point. But anyway.
Well, you can't buy yourself anything. Okay, so and in fairness, I have that same problem just with the different side of it. It's all plaid, and I don't know, and that's not purposeful. I don't intend to. I just somebody came over a while ago and was like, "Dude, your whole closet's like plaid," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess."
Maybe you're a lumberjack or a lumbersexual. That's the thing.
Is that a thing? Is it?
Yeah.
You're just attracted to
lumberjacks. Yeah.
Interesting. I like that. I think that's. I want to know if there is that for every like profession. Like just attracted to postal workers.
Yeah, probably.
Why not? That would be. Yeah, I'm sure.
Let's do
postal workers out there. I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's a thing. I'm sure it's.
I love a man in uniform.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's
right. Short shorts and a
right.
Oh my god.
You're thinking of like a 90s postal worker or whatever. Like
what do they wear today? They have uniforms.
Pants, I think. To be honest, like a U.S. postal worker, I don't even know if I've seen one in a while. Have you?
Everybody out there right now, I want you to look up the current uniforms of postal workers in your area and then just send it to all your friends. Why not?
Yeah.
See what happens. They told me before the show started, they specifically said, look, you can do whatever you want. The only thing you can't do is give people a direction or a command en masse. And so here it is. Go look up the current postal workers uniform in your area and then just send it to a friend.
It's USPS, right? Isn't it national?
Is it just across the board? They don't have regional stuff?
Why would it? It's the United States Postal Service. It's not like the Texas Postal Service or whatever, right?
I feel like Colorado should be able to add just a little bit of their flair for their postal workers.
It's a states' rights issue. We haven't progressed to that yet as a nation. I think. All right, I'm looking it up. I guess they do got the shorts. They are still rocking those shorts.
There's got to be some sovereign citizen line there about why postal workers should be.
There are libertarians out there that are like, the U.S. Postal Service does not make money when we need to stop it. And it's like, it's not supposed to make money.
I mean, right. Yeah. I mean, that was that was the problem with their statement. It is like they are technically
Yeah.
correct.
They're like,
but,
oh, it's a drain on our taxes every year. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's how things work. Our taxes pay for services.
for
That's
service, right?
It's like,
right.
oh, there's a drain on our fire department every year.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah,
why doesn't our fire department make more
why,
money?
why don't they make more money?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
But anyway,
well,
I
yeah,
heard some snap crackle pops in the background.
I have also. We're not just yet.
Okay.
But that's okay because I can also read this chat here, and so you guys can just yell at us from the comfort of your keyboard if you'd like, and just say all kinds of terrible things to Dan and see, I don't know what he responds to, or or don't do that. I mean, don't. That'd be
yeah. No, listen, I put myself on the internet. I'm ready for any sort of public abuse.
What do you think is the meanest thing somebody has said to you this year? Like,
this
like
year?
recent,
I think when I got my nose ring, everybody started talking shit about that. I got a lot of I think I get comments on every video about my nose ring. That's something that happened this year. I think the funniest thing I ever heard was somebody called me dipshit Dan one time.
Dipshit Dan is
dipshit
good.
Dan. I was like, no one's ever called me that.
That
before.
is good,
and that's
the
novelty of it. Makes me smile.
That is good,
but
that is good.
What about you? You get nasty stuff?
I don't know. Most people just tell me like I look like a woman or I'm gay, which neither of those things feel particularly problematic to me. So it's like, okay, yeah. I don't know. I'm sure there's something out there. I was telling you this before the show. I haven't had as many like spicy, calls. Like people haven't been yelling at me as lately. And so I'm trying to figure out
how can you farm outrage?
Right. That's right. I learned a long time ago that you know how good you're doing by the number of haters that you have. So, I don't know where they are, but they're not calling me apparently, or leaving mean tweets or anything.
Maybe that means the world's a better place. Maybe everybody's thinking that kumbaya.
That's fine. I just,
around the campfire.
Yeah. I mean, that's great and all. It doesn't give me the entertainment that I was seeking, but, I don't know. We've got Dan back up. I mean, we're going to try it again.
Poor Dan.
I know. I really do. I feel terrible about this because I feel like Dan feels like we're fucking with him, and we
truly aren't, Dan.
Yeah, I genuinely want you to know we do want to talk with you. There is some technical issue.
All right, well, let's do it.
But yeah, let's bring you on and see. Hey, Dan, we got you back. Let's hope it is fixed. But I'm feeling like it's not. All right. Oh my gosh. Hey, Dan.
It's a post-Christmas miracle, folks. We did it.
Oh my goodness. I think we got you, Dan.
Here's Dan Mullen again.
Hey,
he's here.
What is up? Thank you so much for hanging with us, man. We really, really appreciate you. And we wanna get right into it.
HQ.
Yeah.
So you guys were talking about that fake flat earther that went to Antarctica?
Yeah, what do you think about all that, man?
Oh, you guys kind of beat me to it. It's a government psyop.
There you go. See, I called it for you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What? So Antarctica is not real, or what? Like, what's?
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean, you're telling me some guy that's just a middle class, maybe lower middle class guy gets just a free ride to Antarctica when people can't even get there on their own without tons of government permission. Come on.
Have you ever looked into tourism to Antarctica before, Dan?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
I mean, I don't know. You're not getting past the process.
Wait, what do you mean? I don't know. You're saying, can you believe that people can go to Antarctica? And I'm saying, hey, have you seen this service that is provided?
Yeah, we looked it
buy
up
yourself and do
we
it.
looked it up
and
at
you're
the
saying,
beginning of the
I
show.
don't know, but like it's there. You can do it right now.
You're telling me they're going to let you on that list?
Well, hang on, Dan, just a second, man. Okay, seriously, like at the beginning of this show, we talked about this. And the comment that I made first about this whole experiment was not that I thought it was interesting about like hey, it actually is a globe or, whatever, or like not any of that stuff. The thing that I thought was the coolest, and you can rewind this and see, is that there are companies that take people to Antarctica.
Can I
cool.
show? Am I allowed to show stuff on screen? Can I show a website?
I must
yeah, try it. Let's see. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Let's see. Here we go. So here's Visit Antarctica. This was the service that was used. Find your next adventure. Explore 2024 Antarctic trips, Antarctic logistics and expeditions. So they got Trip Finder and flight schedule. They got to contact us. It's all right here.
Yeah.
How much does it cost?
Let's see. I'd have to go
on the final experiments website. I remember it saying somewhere in the range of like $30,000 US, which like, I'm not saying that's necessarily cheap or anything, but like that's doable.
Yeah.
But you don't think that's like a performative act to like bring some guy?
Why? Why would they have this whole company for all these years?
Listen, this is good. Think about it. You're this company. You want more people to know about your services. What's the best way to do this than to do a flat Earth experiment thing and provide this and get huge coverage and stuff? Yeah, absolutely. That totally makes sense from a marketing perspective,
all right. OD. All right, OD. I'm hearing you. Let me throw this back to you though. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's not terrible. Okay, I'm with you. But what about the multiple scientists that have used that service for the last few years?
Yeah.
And have talked about it for the last few years. Why would that company be going through all of that effort?
You're in question.
Go ahead.
Well, all about money. I mean, they can just lie about it, man. Come on.
But has lying brought you a lot of money in life, Dan? Has lying brought you a lot of money in life, Dan?
Well,
yeah,
it has
sell dog food for a living, man.
It has.
Yeah, I sell Taiwanese dog do.
Wow, man. Yeah, lying has never brought me or any of the people that I know that are successful. It has never brought them a reasonable amount of steady money because the lie tends to be found out.
Okay, tell it to me straight here, Dan. So the U.S. government?
You're on the other side of the country.
Hang on a second, Dan.
I got all my dog do.
Hang on, Dan.
Like,
go ahead.
Dog do.
Because some of these flat earthers that went, first of all, they were already established personalities in the flat earth community. And also, like, this is, again, a private service. This is not the U.S. government. So, like, what evidence do you have to show any, if at all, that the U.S. government was involved in this experiment in any way whatsoever, besides speculation?
I bet you if you trace back that company, you could find.
I bet you. So you haven't actually done the work. You're just saying, I bet you.
Yeah, no, I'm totally.
No. So you haven't done any work for this at all, and you're just speculating.
No.
You don't actually have any evidence that says that the U.S. government has done anything. You don't have any evidence, right?
Wait, what did you say?
You don't have any evidence that the U.S. government is involved in this at all. You're just speculating, right?
Give me a few hours, I'll find out.
Give me a few hours and you find out. So you've already made your conclusion, though.
Yeah.
That's my problem. You haven't done any work.
Yeah,
you've lazily summed up the situation as this is the U.S. government doing something, and you're saying maybe if I do some work, I'll find this. But why go to this conclusion at first?
Yeah,
why not accept that maybe the truth is just what reality presents itself as is?
So what? You just believe everything?
No, but I'm saying sometimes reality just is as it presents itself, right? Sometimes there's no cover up. Sometimes it's just the facts are just the facts, right?
Do you think like airplanes are a conspiracy, Dan?
Yeah, like,
do you think like international airplanes are real?
There are events that have happened where conspiracies aren't
involved. The one that
right?
into the Pentagon?
Say again?
He's talking about 9/11 now.
That one that flew into the Pentagon? That one wasn't a plane. That was a missile.
Well, that's a completely different thing.
Different.
Yeah, I'm just talking about like Southwest or Air France.
Yeah,
like, do you think those things are conspiracies?
Oh no, man, I don't fly. I wouldn't get in a plane anymore. I think that's like a death sentence.
So you don't. you don't fly, and you don't even think they're real, but
No, they're not.
interesting, man.
Yeah, so you think I'm like a sheep and like I just believe in everything, right? But like, why are you
Not
lazy?
like
Why
a
don't you
sheep.
actually do the work to figure out what the U.S. government's
Yeah.
involved in this at all? Why just believe that?
What could I
And
do? I'm one guy, man. I
You
can
go
read.
fly a plane yourself.
right,
Like
but like,
I've taken pilot classes.
but you believe this offhand
I'll
with no
be out.
evidence. Do you acknowledge that at least that you have no evidence for your belief? This is just your speculation.
No evidence for the Antarctica company being involved with the U.S. government.
Correct. Yeah, you acknowledge that that's your speculation.
I don't know, man. I'm looking at this website. I see a couple things that looks like they're loosely
Okay, but
tied
this
to them.
is post facto after you've already told me that you believe that this is the case, right? So this is your
Well, now I'm looking
speculation.
into it.
Okay, you're looking into it now, but previously 5 minutes ago
Yeah.
you told me this was the US
Oh
government.
yeah,
And I'm
sure,
saying
yeah,
you
yeah.
didn't have
That's
any
way
you didn't have
way to
any
look.
evidence for
Man.
that. I just want you on record saying that you didn't have any evidence for that. This was just your speculation,
Oh yeah, you're right.
right? Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. I just want you to know that this is how everything in the flat earth community works, right? This isn't just you, but this is why people like ourselves
Take
that
charge, man.
talk
We do.
about you. Man, Dan, I'm trying not to interrupt you talking. I know there's a little bit of a delay, but please
I'm
let me
sorry.
finish here, okay? So this is why I said that this experiment wasn't going to convince folks like you. Because folks like you aren't using reason, folks like you aren't using science, you aren't doing any work whatsoever to actually figure out the truth about things.
Mm,
You're kind of just saying, I'm just going to doubt every single narrative that's told to me about this thing because I don't trust these people for one reason or another. And I think that that's one, not the best way to live your life. That's my opinion, of course. But two, more importantly, like if you want to actually convince me and convince Elliot and literally convince anybody else about what the truth about things are, you have to do a little bit of work, right? So just this lazy speculation of, oh, it all has to be fake. That's not going to cut it. It's not going to cut in the real world. It's not going to cut it to convince anybody of anything, right? At least anything meaningful. So that's my take on that, Dan.
yeah.
And I wonder, Dan, how many other things in your life you would utilize this same methodology for, right? Like
Every day,
if I
everything.
brought you my Honda and I said it wasn't working and it was making some noises, and you said, well, just take it up to this shop over here, man. And I said, nah, see, I can't take it to that shop. See, they're in league with the government. They're a psyop. And then you said to me, well, gosh, where do you have the evidence for that, SR? And I said, you know what, Dan? I just don't have it. But now that I'm looking into their webs, would you take me seriously?
Yeah, 100%. If you were my friend that was dogging you like that, I would.
You would take me seriously about the mechanic that you've gone to in your neighborhood for years being potentially part of a psyop with the government just because I said it even before having any information to back it up. You would go, all right, man, I'm on board with that.
Do you ever jump into a pool, or do you just like put your foot?
Can you answer the question? Can you answer that question? I'll answer your question, man. You said yes, or you said no?
But I answered it with a real point. I'm saying, do
you said yes, right?
First, or do
you said yes, right, Dan?
He did. He said yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a yes.
All right.
That's a yes. I'm just saying.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I personally, and again, this is an opinion, Dan. Just like our boy up here, OD, said earlier. This is my opinion. I would never want to so confidently tell people that I don't care about the truth of the world around me. And I think that's really sad, man. I know you're not a bad person.
What is the truth to you?
I know you're not an evil jackass or anything. I mean, I guess I don't know for sure, but I'm taking a swing here, Dan. You're probably a normal, decent person. I just think it's really, really depressing that you apparently are, I don't know, pleased by the fact that you don't require evidence. I think that sucks, dude.
Yeah. Why would you want to go by every day just retracing and making sure you're doing everything explicitly right? Sometimes you just got to do shit, man.
Yeah.
I agree that
think
there's a certain pragmatism that you have to live your life by, but you're also making claims that upend institutional knowledge, right? Like you can't
make it
keep living your life by just saying the earth is flat. That's going to inevitably lead you to conclude other things about other people lying about things, right? It's going to inevitably bring you to a mindset that's going to keep giving you false positives about the world. So
Well,
that's
I'll bring
why
up
there's
a couple of other things, but that might get your channel in trouble.
well,
I
yeah,
don't.
I don't want you
Right.
to bring up irrelevant points right now. I know you believe in other
Yeah.
things because like your community always does, because you approach the world with skepticism first about mainstream narratives, and if there's evidence to that, even better. But it's not a requirement for you; it's supplementary, and I think that's Elliot's point, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And just to kind of round it out here, Dan. I don't think you do use this methodology in your life, in your daily casual how you get
brother.
around. And the reason I say that is because I genuinely believe this type of methodology would lead one to a very quick, untimely death. Because that's how serious this is, man. That's how important knowing your epistemology is sound is. But hey, you made it this far, I guess. So I do appreciate you calling, man. I really enjoyed this. I hope that it was good for you. I mean, I think that you hung with us, and I appreciate that with all the technical issues. And ultimately, I don't know, Dan. Could you ever confidently come on in front of other adults and just tell them that you genuinely don't care about knowing things are true?
Well, there is a point where, like, it is your opinion on meteorology going to help your Taiwanese fishing career? No, I don't think so. Right? Like, there's some academic exercises that to most people are so far-fetched or so out there that it isn't useful to people's lives. I agree to that extent, but there are better ways of knowing, or at least more reliable ways of knowing and predicting things than others,
Yeah.
right? And there is a value to practicing skepticism as it is in line with rationality and the scientific method. But a lot of people just don't know or don't care, I think. I think it's more just about aesthetics, it's more about just not feeling like you're a sheep, right? A little bit of trolling, a little bit of edginess there too. There's a lot of motivations there. I can't summarize every single person's mindset, but there is a lack of awareness there on some level. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, man. That bums me out a bit to think that is a big. I know it's a huge motivator to keep people in stuff, right? I mean, we talk about that all the time in the Christian and the religious space, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that, look at the community that I'll get if I just start at least even like playing this, like even if I just go out there and just start yelling, birds aren't real, and stuff like that alone gets me the community, even if I don't actually believe that's kind of a bummer, man.
Yeah.
I hope that
but sometimes it's motivated by other things like hate too. I mean, the oldest conspiracy theory groups, they have all one thing in common.
That is true, man.
Right?
It is fascinating how they always go back to the anti-Semitism, bro. Yep. That is amazing. It is like they will talk to you for like a full hour straight about all of this wild stuff, and it will always end with, oh yeah, and the Jews, blah blah. And it's like, oh my gosh, what the what is that? Can you explain that? Is that just?
Well, I mean, it's It is a skepticism towards powers, right, and elitism, and Jewish people have always been a surrogate for that. And so like when people are talking about Marxism, I'm really scared of Marxism, and also like actual literal alien people. Those are both just like surrogates for Jewish people at the end of the day, and you'll find that those communities also have a higher than tendency to connect that. It's about market, right? Because if you are the kind of person that's willing to at least believe in one kind of conspiracy theory, you're also probably going to believe in more. That's why every single person I've ever talked to on any of our shows that believes in at least one conspiracy theory always has a million. That's why he was saying, "Oh, I can talk to you about some other stuff that might get you demonetized." Right? So there's like when you're already an outcast from the normal mainstream talking points, you find groups and commonalities with other folks who are also sort of outspoken in their ideas. That's why they always care about free speech and stuff.
And it is the number one indicator, time and time again. What is the most likely predictor of whether or not you are going to believe any given conspiracy theory? And always the answer is whether or not you already believe another one. If you already believe another one,
experience, I have no. I mean, I'm sure there's some evidence points.
I think I've seen some studies done on that. I don't know. I don't know how extreme and robust they were, but there was. I remember David McCraney on the You Are Not So Smart podcast a while ago had a couple of episodes around this. And he wrote a whole book, how minds change, I think. Oh God, I feel terrible. Go look that book up if you haven't seen it, folks. David McCraney's great. He doesn't need my promotion. But yeah, it is frustrating to think that is a motivator. So
yeah, that's the world we live in. But like that's always that's been there before. We just have a better communication technology that facilitates.
Yeah, we can kind of catch it a little better sometimes. But cool enough. And again, you guys out there are going to be like looking. I know all of you out there are looking at Dan and I thinking, wow, how polished and professional they are this whole time. They have strung this along perfectly and connected everything like freaking geniuses.
Yeah.
Which is why our next caller, Tommy, him up in New York, actually wants to talk about how believing in flat Earth is a little bit more about going against the man. You see how I did that, guys? I just tied all this shit together because I am actually a host. Hey, Tommy, what's up? You're on Let's Talk.
How's it going, my friends?
It's great. How are you?
Hello, can you hear me? Good.
Yes, yep, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Some interesting things. Yep, I know you had some technical difficulties earlier, so hopefully everything's going back clear. Yes?
Oh, yeah. Yep, we can hear you loud and clear. Go ahead.
Wonderful. Yeah, so it's one of those things, right? I don't think that the flat Earth community, it's not about flat Earth. Yeah. Believe it or not. Yes, it's intensely about flat Earth, but it's not about that. It's about going against the man on something. And it could be such an asinine thing as believing the Earth is flat, right? And I've seen, like, religious people, I get that shit, right? Because these people grew up in a certain kind of environment, right? But they kind of believe, and it's also a misnomer, by the way, in the Bible, et cetera, et cetera. Either way, the interpretation, it goes against their fundamental beliefs, right? It's these new kids, right, that aren't religious or anything like that, and heavily believe in flat Earth. And it's not because they actually believe in flat Earth. They want to stand for something, you know what I'm saying, against the establishment, if that makes sense. And this, the flat Earth base is very more so conservative base, but even in the liberal basis, right, it's the same thing. There's people who are like intensely towards certain kinds of activisms that make no sense, but they make it a part of their personality. And a lot of these people, I wouldn't like to use the term like degenerate or anything negative connotations, but their lives, they're either really fed up with their lives, right? Or they're in like some remote area sometimes, which is sometimes more of the flat Earth, where they dwell on these things more, right? Or that's the community that kind of establishes with them, or rather, this is the first community that they could get into. They could be social outcasts or something, right? These are and they believe in the agenda heavily, without any question, almost like a religion, you could say, right?
So here's where I'm kind of, because I feel like you Tommy and Dan are kind of on the same page here with this, right? That there is definitely that community aspect that can bring people into this. And here's kind of the bit that I'm thinking about and I'm struggling a little with. Like, I can't believe that this roll of paper towels is anything other than this roll of paper towels. I genuinely cannot do that, right? I can pretend, like I can say to a buddy, hey, it's a sword, or it's a lightsaber, or it's a megaphone, whatever. But like, I can't actually believe that roll of paper towels is a soccer ball, right? Do you think
you're talking about the pragmatic thing that, like, there's so much evidence against that specific thing? Is that what you're saying?
Well, maybe. I mean, I'm not sure, because I'm not sure if these individuals are actually changing their beliefs or not. If it is a community thing. And I guess I just wanted to kind of toss that and get your thoughts. Yeah.
Well, let me chime in here, like, because here's where I think you might be making the mistake, right? Like, Christians don't know what the word apologetics is, broadly speaking.
Sure.
Right? Most Christians don't. They don't have to, right? Like, they don't really have to have like fully set and sorted out beliefs in order to be part of the Christian community. The same is true with flat earthers and these other these communities. The true believers only make up a percentage.
I think I know what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Like, here's the thing. Capitalism has made our groups, has divided us by such large margins, right, between the haves and have-nots, that we have lost our sense of individual identity and power, right? And these groups who feel mad about LGBT representation on TV, or scientists on TV who think they know better than them, in this elitism, there's an anger there, right? Saying, what do you know about me? What do you know about my community and my folks? And like that's where I think a lot of that, what our caller is referring to, is talking about being angry at the man. It's not just even about like the actual political power play, but also even just like a representation of voice in a way, which is kind of interesting.
And not even so much about a concrete idea necessarily, as it is just a generalized.
Do you remember like a year or two ago during the pandemic shit, where like there was a group of people that were protesting vaccines by like storming an Applebee's or whatever, right? It's like, stuff that's like not going to do anything at the end of the day, but it's like that's all they can do, because their act of protest is so meaningless that they can only engage in the levers of capitalism to even like do something with it, right? And they can't actually, they have no political power to really say or do otherwise. So you have groups like that do that, and then flat earthers that do these conferences and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
What do you think, Tommy?
Well, I think in America, there's a huge cultural divide, because we're so big, because we're so spread out, because we have differing personalities, Let's take a look at Sweden, right? Sweden, and I've read studies about this. I might be completely wrong, but they said Danish are the most boring ass people in the world, right? Because they all think alike, they all act alike, etc. But the same thing is similar to Japan, right? It's a kind of social cohesion, right? But then as soon as something weird goes on, like for example, Sweden right now is, they had this whole thing. A lot of people in those like progressive countries, they like to do humanitarian things, right? So they allowed immigrants to come in, but now the crime has gone up so much, and it's weird for Sweden, right? The crime has gone up so much that after like a couple of years of doing this now, and they tried everything, they're literally paying immigrants $40,000 to go back to their country. You know what I'm saying? So now imagine that kind of like it was a whole cultural shock for us. Now imagine America, there's so many different types of cultures, right? And these cultures are gonna butt heads, right? You know what I'm saying? Like we have religious, we have like certain kinds of people. I'm from the hood, for example. Like we have certain, our ideologies, our understandings, and our perspectives are completely different, and it's definitely gonna butt heads. And I think a lot of the issues do come into that, especially when you're young and angsty. You know what I'm saying? Like this whole like activism movement, again, conservative and liberal, they have different things they're activists about, but it's like a new kind of hippie movement. You know what I'm saying? These are like these angsty people. I think I don't want to be wrong, but in the 1960s and 70s, like motherfuckers weren't trying to go to war. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the hippies like we don't want to go to war and stuff like that. Like people will die in Vietnam and shit. Like these days, it's like the angstiness of I guess lack of how can I say this? It's almost like an angstiness due to lack of struggle. Almost like people are just bored, they're angsty, they're not happy with their lives, they lack purpose, et cetera, et cetera. And there's just so many also conflicting ideas that go against each other.
Yeah, I think your prescription of NUI, right, boredom, lackadaisy, I think like that's a conservative thing that's prescribed amongst liberals as to why liberal activism has become a thing. But really in conservative and broadly speaking, conspiracy circles are mostly conservative, right? In a lot of their thinking.
Yeah,
I actually think it's sort of the opposite. I think you tend to find, like, for example, the January 6th rioters, almost 80%, 60 to 80% were in debt of some kind, right? Particular debt. Like we are seeing people who are broadly on the margins of society for the most part that end up in a lot of these communities that do struggle in one form or another through financial institutions, or like don't have social welfare for whatever reason, right? Medical debt or mental health issues, just whatever. Like there are people who are by and large aren't being taken care of by this country. I think you actually find that it more commonly in these communities than anything else. And yeah, are some people just bored and want to have friends? Like, yeah, that's definitely part of it too. But these aren't, in my experience, and again, I'm not an expert in any term, but like from what I've seen, it seems to be more of that being the case, if anything, people on the margins of society.
That is a fascinating thought, because there does seem to be this correlation, at least, where this like education and poverty and like healthcare, like these kind of all swim together. And when one of them is like drastically low, like it just pulls the others down to such an absurd degree, and it becomes so difficult to tackle whatever the problem is, because I mean we have to go back so far and rebuild, this whole conversation up again, because this is a community or an individual that has, essentially been, shunned from all of that for years and years of their life, if not generations in their family. And that can be really, really difficult to overcome, especially with like a 5-minute fucking, interaction with somebody at the grocery store. Like, that's a really interesting thought.
They feel like they're being antagonized as well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. There is a propensity towards paranoia as well. I think that, just has to be observed, right? And that paranoia can obviously lead you to be more agitated generally than the average person because of unmet anxieties, right? And like unmet social needs also will contribute to that, I think.
Well, and I also can see.
I see that. I'm sorry. Yeah, I actually see that even in a circle of like artists, right? And these are more so because I live in New York City, right? And I recommended, hey, you could use AI. And I have artist friends, by the way, who use AI. Like there's a huge thing against artists can say, which is kind of obvious because they feel like their job is threatened, but it is the future, right? So my artist friends tells me like she literally uses AI to kind of take her work, and especially during the deadline, right? She could use that AI to look at different renditions and kind of aspects of her work without having to fully commit to going to Photoshop or anything else. So she could give something that she's more happy giving to the people because it makes it so much quicker, right? And people are so against something because, again, like, it's like a community kind of thing. And like, if you give them an advice, like I was on like some kind of forum or something like that, right? And I was giving people, like, hey, you could actually do this in a nice, like, I guess also in text, things sound much more horrible. Like, like just, people assume aggression and tone and everything that's not there. Like, hey, you could do this. Like, it's not, AI is not going anywhere. You know, might as well use it to your advantage. And it's immediate. Like, our artists is like, no, like, they won't even try it because their community is just, anything pro it is just that antagonizing factor to them in their mentality already, because they're threatened by this already. It's a lack of compromise, a lack of working with the thing. Like, this is not how you change people's minds. Like, imagine AI was a person, right? This is not how you're going to change AI's mind, by not listening to them. One of the ways to do it, and I've done this before with like friends of either spectrum of like whatever kind of lifestyle or idea they have, is like, pretend to be and I'll be honest, is pretend, be fake as shit, pretend to be in a middle ground of things and slowly give them leeways, especially when it comes to like things like flat earth, right? Because it's just fact, right? And like, not in the globe, the earth being the globe is just facts, right? So take on other aspects that they believe in and just kind of just pretend, be fake as shit, pretend to kind of believe them, and then you could bring in the flat earth. The thing is, they have to like you. That's the thing. People don't listen to people they don't like. You know what I'm saying? And
have
like,
you, Tommy, have you ever heard, Tommy, have you ever heard of something called street epistemology?
No.
Dude, okay. So when you're off here, like, totally just literally, you can just Google it, you can throw it into YouTube, podcast platforms, anywhere. Street epistemology, and that's a big word, but I promise you start spelling it and it'll come up. Basically, it's this whole concept of it's this whole concept of trying to have these difficult discussions, kind of similar to a way that you're talking about, like from a neutral stance and really trying to investigate things. And it's something that both myself and Dan are really big fans of. We've loved it for years. We've used a bunch of techniques and all the stuff that we do. And I think because I'm hearing this stuff over, you guys are making some really good points. And there's part of this that's kind of bumming me out, I'll be honest. But I think it's also a great opportunity, because here's the thing. The bummer side of it is kind of, I'm getting this feeling that in part what you guys are telling me is like, there's broad changes that need to happen in society as a whole, so that we're able to take care of people in a way where these individuals aren't falling through the cracks and becoming on the margins of society, you know? And that means that's a lot of work, right?
Well,
that's a lot of work.
It's institutional work that you and I don't have the levers to control.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately.
Absolutely.
And that's, I think, gives, we were talking about the existentialism that occurs in activism. What kind of efforts are we really making?
Yeah.
The truth is, we don't do a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. There's only so much we can do. Even if we had much bigger platforms than this one,
sure,
there's only
right?
so much we can really do, because we don't have access to the levers of power. We're not lobbyists. We're not politicians. We don't, do that. But that doesn't stop me from doing what I think I can do best with my time. But there are broader social forces that ultimately are going to be the bigger determiner than anything we can do.
Yeah.
In my view, yeah.
But that's where that definitely, I get you, man. That was hitting me, and I was feeling that bummer. But that was where I saw the excitement. That was where I saw the opportunity, man. Because what that means is that this type of stuff that we're doing, this type of stuff that we're all engaging in right now, this is what we need to do. We need to do more of this. We need to provide those spaces for people that, man, I'm not going to make you sit down and read a fucking Bible verse or listen to a sermon first. We're just going to be human together. We're just going to progress together. You know, that's a fantastic thing. Again, yeah, it's a lot of work, y'all. We're probably going to have to get up a little bit earlier than I want to on a Tuesday, but you know, I mean, that's good. I think we know we have a decent handle, I think, what the problem is. And so, okay, now we just gotta work, work for it. Buddy of mine says this all the time. How do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. And you know what? I love that. It's like, oh shit, how would we do that, Elliot? And it's like, yeah, I sure as fuck don't know, but one bite at a time, right? Like, start doing stuff like this, start having meetings in person. I just heard we have a new Recovering from Religion chapter here in Nashville, you guys. That's a small bite somebody took. And I am excited to be at the next one of those events. And if you're in Middle Tennessee, go out on Meetup. And
Nashville?
Yeah,
You guys, I went to Vanderbilt. You guys in Nashville?
hey, you went to I personally, nobody else is in Nashville. They're all in other worse cities.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, good for you.
Oh, okay.
Vanderbilt's badass.
Yeah.
I actually have friends up in Comac.
I got a full ride to Vanderbilt, so got an education there. So I know a little bit.
That's awesome, man. I've got friends up in Comac on Long Island, so that's great, man. See, I love it.
Nice.
Small world. Well, Tommy, look, we'll let you say one or two more things before you go, and we appreciate you, man. I think this was a good discussion, and you know, it's nice to. We don't always need to yell at people that disagree.
Yeah, no. I think one of the things that, and this is just a curiosity for everyone to think about, like, during the caveman days, right? By the way, let's assume, I'm not gonna assume that evolution is real or something like that, right? But we have these urges, like this flight or fight, and this like kind of antagonism, aggression, right? And we use that to hunt. And for like thousands upon thousands of years, until like what was it, like 9,000 years ago, where agriculture started, right? But imagine 20,000 years before, right? We still have those urges, but we live in a society that is very, like, how can I say this? Very calm, right? So when like activists like this, I mean, any flat, it's not even flat earth, anything that comes up, it gives us like a fervent, a rage. You know what I'm saying? To actually fight for something or feel like they could just let something out. And especially when you have another side that is so antagonistic against that, just to have like that enemy, I feel like that kind of just brings that thing up, that like almost like, how can I say this, that reptilian kind of urge and desire. So that's just something to think of. It could be just because we have no outlet. And that kind of goes back to, a lot of these people are living from like just places where it's like very boring. It's like we have that outlet, and these agendas give us that outlet, especially among young people.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, man. Well, Tommy, we really, really appreciate you, and I hope you have a good New Year's and Christmas if you celebrate, or if not, then I hope you've just been chilling, because some other people probably have been, and you deserve a rest yourself, I'm sure, brother. Thank you so much, Tommy. We're going to drop you. And, oh, shit, I always end up cutting people off. I'm very sorry about that. It is not purposeful.
Rude.
Rude. No. When I cut the callers off, it's not purposeful. When I cut your dumb ass off, that's no.
You don't have the power.
I know. Look at that. I got the power. We got 5 Skeptic Haven memberships gifted from Left-Handed Jedi. Thank you so much. And if you got one of those memberships, you should spam the chat with emojis, because you now have the ability to do that, and nobody can tell you otherwise. And so just do it. Just flood the chat, see what happens. I don't know. You might get kicked out, you might lose friends, or it just might be really pretty. But either way, I had a lot of fun, and I'm excited to bring in this next year. I know we got a couple more days left, so I'm going to get all the debauchery and bullshit out of my system so that I could start 2025 clean.
Yeah.
Is what my plan is. Are you doing any like New Year's resolutions or anything? You doing
resolutions?
I
got no. I don't have any right now. I'm just gonna I'm gonna actively be a worse person this year. I think okay. Right. But that's a resolution, I suppose.
Right. Yeah. I've gone this far in my life without doing,
If
any
you're
of the
honest with yourself, you've never met a resolution. Like, and I'm not saying I'm
No.
not picking on you. I'm saying
No,
most of us, we
everybody.
just don't do it, right?
No,
So
of
it's
course
like
not.
I don't.
No, I don't do
One
them.
time, I did one time. You know what I did? I said I wanted to read more books in a year. I wanted to do 52 books, and I got to like 25 ish.
Oh,
So I
that's
was like, that was pretty
okay.
good.
Pretty
Just
good.
trying to do a book a week, but you know,
Yeah.
I haven't.
That's
That's the
pretty good.
closest I've ever done a resolution.
That is pretty good.
actually.
I haven't done resolutions for so long because I just I know I never went through on them or
Yeah.
anything. So my goal is to just like be the same just consistently for the rest of my life at this point. Like I like where I'm at and I just want to
retain homeostasis.
exactly. Like I don't ever want to I don't want to change, I don't want to grow, I don't want any new experiences. I've
Yeah.
had enough experiences.
That's what a
I
mature
like
person
what-
says. They say I don't want to change or grow. I think.
Excited for the
When
new
I
year.
think of the greatest thinkers, the greatest people that have contributed, they're always saying this. They're like, never grow as a person.
Right. You've learned enough.
Yeah. Albert Einstein, I think, talked about that.
Look, Dan,
Yeah.
it's 2024. It's almost 2025. If you haven't learned it at this point, you're just not gonna. Like, just accept
because
that,
we all
right?
like every human experiences time the same.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's how it works,
Yeah.
man. The knowledge
Yeah.
has all been out there. Like,
Right.
why
It's
have
just,
you
it's all out there. There's
I don't
no there's no new knowledge. It's just
Well,
there. It's all on Wikipedia. Just
I
read
am-
Wikipedia. And
Just
you'll
weed,
find.
Rick. You know,
Yeah.
I did see something the other day, and I don't know when it was from. I don't know who posted it or something, but there was a clip where somebody had said, like, people who edit Wikipedia, they're not concerned with the truth. And I went, there's got to be more context here because there's no way that was just the statement. But
Yeah. Well,
yes.
there's a lot of people that are upset about Wikipedia because of DEI.
Oh,
right now. Have you heard about this?
I have not. I didn't know.
Elon Musk suggested that people shouldn't donate to Wikipedia because of DEI, I think is
Really?
his reason cited. Yeah. Well, they have a part of their budget is they do like help towards diversity. It
feel like that's
efforts, but it wasn't just like for Wikipedia. It's like global efforts.
That sounds good.
Yeah, like divested interests and like obviously, investments and stuff too. But people just like see like, oh, it's for DEI, so we should support it, and that's it. So
really cool. That's weird.
It's really awesome.
Yeah, let's
do that.
It's strange.
Yeah.
We've gotten, again, I will just say we've gotten a lot of weird things in this year, and I'm assuming that next year will also be very weird.
There's no chance that it won't be.
Right at this point, I feel like we've hit this tipping point a handful of years ago where it's like every year will consistently be. We will never not be surprised.
Right.
Is that we're all comfortable with that, right? Like that's the world we're in now. It's just always going to be a fucking hellscape and nonsensical. Okay,
yeah,
cool. Well, that's good. I mean, I wanted to leave everybody with a cheery and positive note, and so I like the thought that you and I are basically telling everybody, like, yes, next year probably will be just as bad, if not worse. What are you?
It might not be. It could be worse for somebody else instead of you.
That's right.
The rates of worseness will differ.
That's right.
You still
individual
have a
results may vary.
Yeah.
Okay. What will you be doing in this next year? As
probably making fun of you.
Okay. Well, that's
more. I'm getting married.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. That's really cool.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's my big thing I'm looking forward to. I'm going to Japan. That'll be cool.
That's also really cool. Yeah.
Hopefully the bird flu won't be a thing that stops us from going anywhere again.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. I don't know. I feel like every time I read an article that has something about like a virus or something, I'm just like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
It already happened once.
I know.
Happen again.
Ready for the whole world to just end tomorrow or whatever.
What about you? What's your thing?
Man, I am excited. I've been working with some cool people here in Middle Tennessee area over the last year or so, and we got a lot of cool things that are coming out next year, man. I'm really excited to start getting them out there and letting people know about what we're doing. But it's going to be a good time. 2025, I think, is going to be a cool year in the South for all of us secular and non-religious folk. I hope that we make a name for ourselves, and we can just get out there and push back against some bullshit and just have some fun when we can, so
sounds like a plan to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be hoping to work on. But I'm sure in between then I will also probably hang out here and take some calls with you wonderful people. And, I do want to say thank you to all you fantastic viewers out there. We do also have a list of patrons that are amazing that if we could get those up on screen, I will read them. Look at that. Right. Perfect timing. We got Paul Kamish, Karen Butcher, Puck, Helen Green, Logan Fisher, Amanda McLeod, Rion, Deneen Murphy, Dandy, Michael Wiseman, Sunny Shell, and Phil Calderone. Thank you so much. Every single one of y'all help make this happen. You keep the lights on and you make it so that the wonderful crew is willing to put up with myself and Dan. But no, we also have, we've got channel members. Oh, thank you for that. We've got Yahooligan, Manuel Puente, Karen Butcher, Ember, A.L. Trucker, and Kelly Laughlin. You guys are wonderful. You also keep the lights on. You make everything happen here. You can see it right there. Go become a member. Join the YouTube or the Patreon or other things. I don't know. There's probably put $10 in an envelope and send it to P.O. Box. I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
I mean, wait, hold on. Keep going. And then,
finish that out. Yeah. Right. Let's get some cash. No, seriously, you guys, we really, really appreciate you. And if you don't know already, there are amazing things that happen right here on Skeptic Haven every freaking week. We have a bunch of shows, like, for instance, on Mondays, we've got the Black Free Thinkers, a wonderful, wonderful show. Jay and Maya, Cynthia, Durante, they are always chopping it up and having a great time. Thursdays, we've got the Sunny Spot. I love Miss Sunny Shell. I cannot wait to hang out with her again. Saturdays, we've got both the Global Atheists and Women Atheists Unload, two of the coolest freaking shows on the internet, in my opinion. And if you disagree, I will fight you. And then, of course, right here on Sundays, we've got Let's Talk, where we are chopping it up and yelling at people. And, if people call, that's really what it's all about. But I did see real quick, we got one more super chat. I don't want to close it up before we give a shout out to that wonderful, wonderful person there. Cause I'm trying to, there it is. Hi, Bryce. Yay.
Get it.
$4.99 from Bryce Aroni. Love you guys. Love you too, man. I hope you're doing well. I hope
hope
this last year's been good for you, man. Can't wait to talk to you again. Bryce been around for a long time.
He sent me a real cute Christmas pic this year.
What?
Shout out to Bryce.
What? I didn't know y'all were on that level. I didn't realize that. Dude, what? That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
That's fucked up.
That's fucked up, man.
Well, try having friends.
Apparently not. Yeah. My friendship is the type where somebody comes and just makes fun of me for like an hour or whatever.
I'm so shitty to you.
It's great.
It's incredible.
Honestly, it's perfect. It works very well for my like codependency and stuff. My therapist and I are working on it. We're trying to figure.
Oh, that's funny.
Guys,
man.
Thank you, everybody. Seriously, this last year has been absolutely amazing. We could not possibly do this without you. And we are excited to be going into the next year doing a bunch of stuff. I hope every single one of y'all have a safe and happy holidays. And I don't know, go get all your debauchery in before the end of the year. You don't have much time left, you guys.
Yep.
So, and then send me pics of it. Or I'm just kidding. I've said too many terrible things tonight. Hey, just close this out, guys. Just cut me off. Just get us the fuck out of here, because at this point, I'm not going to say anything valuable. Like, there's nothing.
The cane they got.
Right. It's just like they're playing the music, play me off. Yeah, seriously. All right.
This is Skeptic Haven. Let's talk.